All right. Hello and welcome to the RockStar Spotlight. I am your host, Kenya Halliburton, the Busy Entrepreneurs BFF, and the creator of My Content Planner, a done-for-you content creation and marketing service for busy entrepreneurs who hate to write. And I'm really excited today. This is the launch of a new expert interview series called the RockStar Spotlight. And just to share with you a little bit about what the RockStar Spotlight is all about. It's a brand new expert interview series that highlights experts and what I like to call messengers whose stories and expertise will empower you to release your inner rockstar and hopefully along the way also inspire you to step out and rock your stage. And this series was inspired because I believe that there's a rock star in all of us, just waiting for the opportunity to take the stage. But sometimes, as we all know, the journey to the stage can be littered with challenges and obstacles that kind of detour us from shining as bright as we can. So one of those obstacles is branding. Branding is one of those things that ties us as solo entrepreneurs up, and it's a huge area of struggle. And as a content marketing person, I can tell you that if you aren't clear on your brand identity, it's really going to be difficult, if not impossible, for you to communicate effectively or with results. And so I speak with and interact with so many brilliant entrepreneurial stars every day. Some are clients and some are professional crushes in my network whom I'm connected to and I admire. And so that's why today I'm so excited to shine the spotlight on branding rockstar Kathy Bass, the brand identity strategist. And Kathy is going to share with us how to create a rockable brand, a rockable and bankable brand, even more importantly. And so we're going to take this in two parts because as I reached out to Kathy, I got a little ambitious with the questions and because I was so excited and she was so gracious to do this in the two-part series with us. So today we're going to explore how she's going to share with us how a brand identity crisis led to a new business. And I think this is great because, you know, I think it's important for us to understand that sometimes in our detours and life journeys that our detours can lead us into our destiny. So before I introduce Kathy formally, I wanted to share with you a little bit of how I came across Kathy, how we met, so to speak. Kathy she doesn't know it, she knows it now. She's a professional crush of mine. I came across her website, you know, maybe a couple of months back and, you know, kind of got into her Google circle and we were Google pals. And I came across something she posted, which has really become one of my favorite quotables. And she posted, content on the digital landscape is equivalent to location on the real estate landscape. And as a content girl, that just really made me feel all warm and fuzzy because I thought that it really captured the essence of what content really means to our branding and what it really means to us as online business owners. So let's get into it. Let's introduce our rock star for today, Kathy Bass, the brand identity strategist, a.k.a. the branding lady. She loves helping entrepreneurs brand themselves successfully, efficiently, and effectively with a no-nonsense approach and a focus on results. Her knowledge comes from her marketing, psychology, and design degrees, her relevant branding and business experience, along with her latest best branding and social media practices and research. She knows that establishing a cohesive and compelling brand is the first and main key to sustainable marketing success. You could say that she is a certified branding nerd and your new best branding friend, which I love. We're all best friends here. So one more quote before I bring her on because I love your quotes. Kathy says that your brand is you and all your strengths and everything you have to offer. You're essentially the CEO of You, Inc. I love that. I absolutely love that. The stronger and better you can communicate that, the bigger you can become. So welcome, Kathy, and thank you so much for taking the time to share your branding expertise with us.
Of course. Well, thank you for the warm welcome, Kenya. And I'm happy to be one of your professional crushes. I love what you said, and it's the same thing. And I'm really excited to see, our new landscape is, no more competition. It's all about collaboration.
Absolutely.
The world is changing so fast, and, that's exactly what I want. My goal is to make branding affordable and accessible so that people can be more clear, make your job and other people's jobs of amplifying the brand much easier, because it's not fun. It's not clear in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so this is, a two-part series, and I'm really happy that I'm the first one, because through all my research, it has to start with the brand.
Yes.
And you have to get that core brand in place. So, you hit all the points, the essence and all that, and once you're so clear, that gives you that energy that, shines your light to push through obstacles and detours. I tried to clear the path, but that's not possible. We're going to do something, but that's why it's important to enjoy the journey. So, okay, it's a two-part series. The first one, it's always the why behind the brand.
Yeah.
Like, why did everyone, had a problem, they solved it in their own unique way, and the quote you said with the knowledge, experience, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to share my story, because different parts of it, it's awesome to see resonate with different people. They could relate to that, and it gives them that inner strength to go out there and do it. So to simplify branding at the beginning, the second part, we're going to go into the nuts and bolts and how to really make your brand rock.
Right.
So if you can just exchange the word brand for reputation, okay? And so the more that you can deliver what you promise, the promise equals the experience, and deliver value. And like anything, it's like an investment. We return on our value the more we learn, the more we do. Okay, so with that said, the branding story started in 1998. I was very, very, very young and ambitious, and decided to start my own company, and my business partner and I met with the investor, and he backed out, and so I took a cash advance of $25,000 on my credit card, and got the Ocean View office, and nice furniture, all that. Well, fast forward 2 years later, my office was in my garage, so I had done it backwards.
As we are.
And so that's part of it, too, of doing it, starting with the brand and figuring that out and not getting too ambitious, channeling that. And so I had my business partner stopped working, and the regulations changed. At the same time, 2001, I was getting married, and I thought I should get a safe job. Can't see the quotes because we're doing audio. I'm an entrepreneur true to heart, and that's where I started detracting from my authentic self. And so I got this safe job and, supported my husband, and we had a lot of moves for that, and so I had done temporary jobs in between. And so fast forward, between 2001, 2009, it was a slow kind of erosion where I was replacing my backbone with the wishbone. And then everyone said, well, you've moved a lot, that's okay, you haven't found your place, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is where you have the breakthrough, the crisis, which you actually bottom. And that's where you discover your truth and the opportunity. Okay, so the brand identity crisis was when I started in the beginning years of being married, I felt like a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. So fast forward to 2009, we moved to Arizona, where I've been ever since. And I got an interview with an advertising agency, and I was like a 12 on a scale of 1 to 10. So that was not a good combination. And I went into the interview, and I said, look, I have a design degree, marketing degree, psychology degree. I want this title. I mean, completely ego. I want this title, I want this, I want that, because at that point I would feel validated and worth something. And then, obviously, I didn't get the job. That's when I came home and I just said, you know what, I'm not going to listen to anyone anywhere. I'm going to look within. I'm going to figure this out. Yes, I have all this knowledge and experience, but how do I communicate it? How do I translate that to help other people? And, everyone, I think a lot of females like to cook, right? And those recipes where you take the ingredients and you separate them all, okay? And then you put it back together, and it becomes something new, even better, that you didn't think of. So I did a lot of reading, a lot of soul searching, just looked within, and I said to myself, well, if I got this job at the ad agency, what projects would I start working on? And why can't I just start working on it? Obvious, right? So that's what I did the next day, and I started working on it, and my logo is Power Up button. So, yeah, a lot of misconceptions. The logo is not your brand, but there's a story behind it, and there's a lot of meaning, and basically it comes down to this. There is no magic pill, as we know as entrepreneurs who are working hard, and there is no magic button, but what I can do is give you everything you need to ignite, like you say, the inner rock star within, and just kind of have the path then to see where it leads you. And so I went to the gym. I'm sure many of you have been there. I had my little pity party where I didn't want to work out.
Yes, we've all been there.
And so I looked at that power button, and it was just like, you know, that moment where it's a second, but it seems like a lot longer. And so I said, look, go in your car, go home, or do your workout. And that power button and that's how it became my logo. I said this embodies everything. Like, everyone has limitless power. It's all within them. It's just pulling that out.
Right.
And so one of that leads us to the next question, because what I decided to do was to take all those pieces, and you had asked me the key piece of advice in the video on the homepage is to, it sounds easier said than done, it is a key way to start to move forward. Otherwise, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels, get stuck, and have the same kind of things happening. So it says, release yourself from your past and tell your story. What is your advice on how to do that? Well, you have to be extremely honest with yourself and really just take inventory, because we can't undo our past, right? But we can learn from it. So it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it. And so I just said, it's like if something's broken, sometimes it can't be fixed. And so that's kind of where I was at. And in addition, our whole environment changed. That's when I was researching social media, and it's like, think about, like a musician plays on the piano, that's their keyboard. We're our screen and our keyboard. That is our music. Think of the power of what you can do with one click. Pretty powerful. I think that scares some people. And that's, branding isn't anything new. It's elevated in importance, because if you don't know who you are, no one else can. And before you go to marketing, content amplifying, you need to get that essence in place. And so you have to release yourself from your past, because it's like a brick wall. If you don't, you're going to keep beating yourself up and hitting that roadblock, but you can't go over it. You can't, no matter how ambitious or determined you are. So you take inventory. Everyone has strengths, weaknesses. It's the total package. But you just, like you said, shine the light on those strengths and figure out what problem. So this is the problem I solved for myself. I had all this value, knowledge, and that, but I couldn't communicate it. So I figured other people would have that same, but how can I do it? And so in my past as a child, my mom did not like questions. And, you are who you are, and I'm naturally curious, and so I was taught that it was a bad thing. And so I couldn't stop the questions from coming, and I love details, but I realize other people don't. An analogy that was given to me was, we want to see the baby. We don't want to see the labor. I like the labor process because I want to understand it.
Right.
It helps me. It's kind of an overcompensation for having to be confident with extremely aggressive male industry.
Yes.
And so that's how I overcompensated, was I knew all angles of something. So now what I can do is, kind of like the ingredients. Here, here's exactly what you need, because that person doesn't want to know why. They want to, this is what I need, this is how I can move forward. But so that's where you have to release yourself from your past, otherwise it's going to keep coming up. So just you clear that, and what you do is it's like a puzzle. You take all those pieces, and then why can't you just take all the good ones back in? You know, everyone has weaknesses, so either, you know, make the strength stronger or find someone to help you with the weakness or read a book or whatever if it's important to you. Not, you know, what other people say to do. And so you take all those pieces and then you just say how, you know, what problem do I love solving and why am I the best person to solve it and how can I deliver? I think you said something like rock your stage. Really, really key, because where is your stage? I mean, I also had to overcome a fear of public speaking.
Wow.
And, yeah, my first seminar was the day after my first Toastmasters meeting. But, you know, everyone has different things, and so that's why you look within first. You figure it out, and so that, you know, spending more time on that because it's really key. Because we just want to get ahead, and you don't want to get ahead of yourself.
Yeah. I think I think that whole concept of taking inventory is so critical and important because I know that, you know, a lot of times, a lot of us, like you said, want to push the fast forward button, and it's so easy to do, right? Because we have, like, all these tools, and everybody's telling us to do these things, and we don't want to miss the opportunity, so it feels kind of counterproductive to sit with, you know, our stuff and try to figure it out. We got to be moving and doing something. But then what I find that, you know, you end up, like you said, you start with the end instead of pushing forward to the end, and so you end up kind of back where you were when you started because you didn't do the work.
Yeah, so that was my story. Toastmasters one day, and then I did my first seminar, and then I was going on my world tour.
Wow.
So anyways, that was, So
but like you said, it's a journey. It's a journey.
But, step by step, and so that's part of it. You want to get there already. So you know, step back, and that's the part people don't want to do because it's what I call going to the dark side, but, oh, my God, a huge weight is lifted. Once you do it, because, I mean, like I said, you can't undo your past. I mean, just learn from it.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter your circumstance, background, anything. It's what resources do you have, you know, because otherwise when people make excuses, those are fears that are disguised. For instance, I said, I don't like the spotlight. No, I was afraid of public speaking, so I had to confront that. And so whatever it is, and I think an important part, too, that I didn't realize is people are really willing and able to help if you just express your vulnerability. And again, not to everyone, you know, not the TMI. It's a very close circle, but, you know, someone else who can relate or who's going through it. And I didn't do that in the beginning. I kind of wish I had. And so, I mean, I would have got there first, you know, faster, but now I have a story and a business.
Yes.
And, so that, I guess, leads us to your next question.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of hit some of it with the stepping out of your comfort zone. It sounds like, you know, you had to do a lot of that as a part of this process, you know, with the fear of public speaking and that kind of thing. You know, what are some ways or some examples or some help you can give us for tackling that for ourselves and getting out of our comfort zone?
Okay, so everyone has a different circle and a different, you know, part of it where, you know, they just have to identify that. And, I mean, from all the research I've done, knowledge and action overcome fear. So I just had been in a place where I was afraid to go out and socialize. I had decided to, you know, I said I'd never play bunco, and it was right down the street, and it was with a bunch of older ladies in the neighborhood, and I just said, you know, that's the first step. Just go there and do that. And so it continued from there. Zumba, have you ever tried that?
I have, in my living room.
It was great. I was in the back, and I'm not very coordinated, and I was like, I don't get this. And I said, oh, I do get this. That's the whole point, is to keep changing it. And so whatever it is, you know, it's again, don't go skydiving. Like, start small.
Work your way up to it.
Yeah, I mean, just little things. And so that's what I'm saying, like your circle, your circumference. At that point, you know, honestly, I'd done 7 moves in 9 years. And so that was part of it. And, you know, so it was always starting over in a new neighborhood. And so that, you know, just like when you're sick and the kitchen is like 500 miles away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. And so it's whatever, it's, you know, don't get too ambitious. Just maybe one thing a day, whatever it is. If you're afraid to talk to strangers, just start saying hi. And, I mean, so it's a cool story. So Bunko led to a client. And Toastmasters, I started in the very back row with a hat and my head down and didn't speak one word. Fast forward, I mean, it's a process, like anything, practice. Fast forward to today, I'm now happy to say that I'm a paid traveling speaker. Started as a paid speaker and now paid traveling speaker. So, you know, what started as a really bad thing, and, you know, most people that, you know, like I said, the fears are disguised as excuses, and I've seen that people, I don't need to speak in public, and another really important thing I want to say, because I see this with a lot of females, is they lack, and no matter their stature or what they've accomplished, they all have some part of self-esteem or confidence that they struggle with. And then people say, I don't like sales. Okay, we're all consumers, right?
Right.
When you know, have someone in your life, a spouse, or you're in a store, you have something, how convincing are you? When you know, you have that conviction.
Very.
And that's what I tell people, oh, yeah, so you're selling every day. And so you know, that's why the brand and the value and the intention and where do I want to go.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go on a world tour. I just, you know, that I thought I did, and so that's why it's important to do the small steps or whatever. So the comfort zone is basically something you don't want to do, a call you don't want to make, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, just do it. And it's awesome because it's a huge weight lifted, and then that's what clears the way to gain your inner strength and your confidence and just, you know, just like working out.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, it's there's a great Family Circus cartoon that reminded me of the old me. Little PJ's in the backyard with a pool, and he swims across the pool, and he says, okay, Mom, I'm ready for the Olympics.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, because kind of, yeah, that's one piece of advice is don't get in the way of yourself, and that's just small steps, whatever it is, and just understand that it's a journey and, you know, work in progress.
I love that. I think that is such practical advice and keeping us from getting overwhelmed and shrinking back. So awesome. So now
no comparison.
No comparison.
You don't, maybe you know someone's story, but you don't, or the book cover, but you don't know the table of contents.
Right. I love that. Absolutely.
And that's really important, not to compare.
Well, speaking of books, that's a perfect segue because you have a book being released in September called Power Up Branding, 5 Steps to Move You from Having a Brand to Seeing Results. Tell us a bit about what your big why was for creating this book.
Oh, I had so much knowledge in my head, and I read so many books, I had to get it condensed.
That's a good reason.
That was part of it. But what happened was I would brand ladies, and actually my first client was male, so that was interesting. But they were lacking the confidence, and they didn't have business sense. And so they were undoing whatever work we did, and really I don't want people to waste their money.
Right.
And so it's a formula that I developed. And so let's go through the 5 steps really quick. Have a brand is your passion. But, you know, we've seen people with lots of passion. It's kind of just fumes. You've got to have then that plan, which is the next step. And then the third one is plug in, which is your credibility. Okay, this is what I want to do, but what pieces am I missing and able to? And that's where you get to the power up. And that's where that inner, you know, when somebody walks in a room and owns it. That's when you've got that conviction, the passion, the plan, and you are clear. And you're focused, but not arrogant. You know, it's just you own it. And you are shining your light, and people gravitate towards you, which is our new world. Not push marketing, it's pull marketing. So the next part is connection, and this is a big piece, is from my seminars and research, there's a lot of people pleasers out there, people who can't say no. And, oh my goodness, having somebody, we've all had clients that are not a good match.
Yes, yes, we have.
They take up much more time, and so it's not a bad thing. And so it's great when you can just introduce yourself to someone, you know, not go into your elevator speech, your pitch, whatever. It's just who are they? People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into that pitch, nobody likes it. You're getting to know each other.
Yes.
Right. And so that's, if they don't like you or they're not ready for you, that's fine. Just move on to the next person.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's the biggest part of it too. And so that's where the clarity comes in. And so the connections are more solid. They're not fluff.
Right.
And they lead to amazing things. I mean, I could give you a list of stories of that just started with a hi, you know, or just an introduction of where it led me, and you don't know, and that's important to do. Okay, like dating, you know, you don't say, hi, I'm single, let's get married.
That's a really great, I've never heard of it put that way, but yes, I get it that way, yes.
It's funny, and so that's why when you know, so what the book is about is gaining that, you know, putting the whole package, making it cohesive, and seeing results is, like what you said, monetizing.
Yeah.
That's the profit, and that's where it comes at the end, because you're able to know your value and communicate your value from the inside out, and then that's when the audience grows, the people are drawn to you. And so the book was written over 2 years ago, and it was over 100 pages. And I'm focused, like you said, on results, and if people aren't going to read this.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the famous female mistake of trying to cover too many pieces. So what I did was I took the meat out, and I'm very happy to say it's 37 pages.
Wow.
The plan is one page, you know, simple as hard, and I condense the page because then it can be limitless and relate to anyone else, because a lot of people work full-time, they have other things, they can't spend as much time. So what you put into it, you get out of it, but the plan changes with you as your needs change and you want to grow and evolve. And I mean, that was a key part of it. And so it gives people a path, but the hard part was to make it timeless, limitless, and adaptable to anyone. Like I said, you have all the different pieces, but this, you know, pulls it all together, and so it makes it affordable. And I did a test as well because I wanted to see how people interact with it. And so it's a workbook, actually, and people are highlighting it and loving it and having breakthroughs. And so that is really cool, you know, since I wrote it so long ago, to bring it back to life.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I love the fact that it fits in with the way that our attention spans work these days.
They're shrinking.
It's definitely shrinking. And, you know, a lot of times a big, thick book is, you know, although good, I have lots of books sitting on my shelf, actually, that I'm embarrassed to say that I've not gotten through the entire thing.
Don't be embarrassed. There's many out there.
So
so that's exactly what this is I took out all the fluff and its essence, and it can relate. I mean, it's like a house. You're not going to throw a house up, so this is building that foundation. Because if you talk to any entrepreneur or startup, there's two important formulas to this, and one is focus, plus follow-up equals results, and preparedness plus opportunity equals luck. And so this branding is the preparedness. It's to get all that ready so that you can have better results, better connections, and solidify that core, and then, you know, grow all the layers from there, which is then the really fun part.
That's awesome. Well, so now you've shared with us your story and your journey and the bumps in the road. So looking back at all the adversity that you've gone through and, you know, where you are today, what message would you give your younger self?
Okay, so when you say younger self, I'm going to go, because I'm a big believer in doing what I tell other people to do and to do it myself, so I understand the struggle and the emotion. So I'm going to start from when I started my business, and that younger self, January 2010.
Okay.
Because the rest of it doesn't matter.
Yes.
That's the point, is what I did with what I learned. Start small, think big, and remember to play. Because a couple startup years I forgot to play, and that wasn't fun.
Now, what do you mean when you say don't forget to play?
Well, you have to take time for yourself, because if you don't help yourself first, you can't help others. And if you're working, you know, we're entrepreneurs, you work 24/7. You can't, it's like a battery, you have to recharge it. And so take a day off or something, do something, and that, you know, that was part of where I had, when I could replace my backbone with my wishbone, I got away. I'm a big skier. I stopped skiing for 3 years. I stopped, you know, just whatever it is, or a book or whatever to laugh.
Yeah.
It is very tough as solopreneurs. I mean, it's, especially with all the different constraints.
Yes.
And so then the other one, this was huge from my mom. When she said it to me, I just went, ah. And it's at the end of my video, I say, remember, you're not a VIP, you're a WIP, which is work in progress. So every day, just, you know, keep improving, honing, you know, and that comes from self-awareness. Yes. And just understand what worked, what didn't, which leads me to the third one, which I see holds a lot of people back. It's what I refer to as bounceability. Is something like what happened before, something would happen to me, or I get, you know, dejected or whatever, and it would take me a week to recover. I
so know that feeling.
The next day. It's like a muscle.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, you don't know what's on somebody's plate. You don't know what they've been through. They don't. And if you can't figure it out, don't worry about it. Just release it. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is trying to control. And, I mean, when I do release my movie, I will show the team of people, because when you see the team of people I worked with, if I had judged them or, you know, thought they should look a certain way and they didn't, I would have missed out on so much value. Yeah. And this is the team that helped me do the video with no money. Awesome. Yeah, and so that's part of just self-awareness, work in progress, and just learning, and can't figure something out, just don't get hung up on it, and bounceability, because then that gets momentum. Because, everyone faces that, and if you do it, you're going to miss out on the opportunities I spoke of, which that's when the magic happens, synchronicity and all that.
Well, that's awesome. That, I mean, wow, my mind is blown. So, so much stuff. So much.
Well, so many years packaged into a half hour. I mean, and that's it. Those are, I could, you know, obviously talk for hours. Yeah. Those are really, really the key things. And like you said, you know, you start with the truth and work with what you have. Right. Don't compare and find other females. I mean, I'm at the point where I've cleared out all the negative Nellies. And I only have females that I collaborate with. And technically some of them are competitors, but we have conversations based on similar struggles. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't believe, I've come to not really believe in competition. You know, kind of like you, I remember working with, when I first started as an online business manager, we did like a mastermind with a couple of my online business manager buddies. And at first I was kind of, you know, like, I don't know how this is going to work because we're competing for the same gigs. But it turned out to be beautiful because we all had different areas that we were strong in, even though we all were online business managers. And we were able to feed each other. And then a lot of times, because our personalities and our skills were different, then the jobs that we went for, some of the people were a better fit for them. Some of the people were a better fit for me. So it wasn't competition. It was just growth, really, is what it turned out to be. So yeah, it's important, and that's very, very true, and it's based on intention. And what do they say, that, you know, all the ships rise when the tide rises, instead of trying to knock someone down to make yourself have more power. It's the power up is really, that's what I want to be the new word for empowerment. Because that's kind
I love that. I love that.
And it's from the inside out, and it's that everyone has everything they need today.
Yeah.
So
it's just about tapping into it and letting it, unleashing it, right? Unleashing the rock star that's inside of all.
Self-awareness is other people will tell you, hey, you're really great at this and whatever. You say, oh, and you just get more of that on your plate and less of the other stuff you don't like.
Yes.
And pretty soon your plate looks really appetizing.
I love it. So before we go, we got a part 2, and that's going to be really great as well. But how can listeners learn more about branding or find out more about you and your book?
Okay, what I would love is my Facebook, because I like to experiment with everything before I do it.
Yeah.
And I haven't done a lot of interaction on Facebook, and I would love to hear listeners' questions.
Okay.
Because it's a real-time basis, and I think that's more effective than email. So if they like the Facebook page, I want them to feel free.
Okay.
It's only going to be about branding, only about branding tips, links to interviews, other people, and then my website, which is LADIESWHOBRAND.com, there's a branding blog that I'm doing monthly right now, and I've been doing it for a couple years. So there's a lot of different things depending what part of branding people are struggling from. That, of course, is free.
Yeah.
And in the book, I mean, that's my number one thing on the website because it's $25 and the value is insane, and it gives that guide, to get the brand, get from point A to point B a lot quicker. Yeah.
So what's the Facebook URL? Is facebook.com/
Oh, sorry. Same thing. Ladies Who Brand.
Ladies Who Brand. Okay. Awesome. And I'm going to you'll also be able to find everything regarding this interview and links to Kathy's website at mycontentplanner.com/Kathy Bass. So great. Awesome. We're ready to rock and roll, and we're ready to start part 2. Woohoo. Yes. So excited.
You got to know the why before the how. This is the why. The next is the how.
The next, we're talking about the how. So thank you so much for sharing your story and the why with us today. We're going to check out part 2 of this brand talk with Kathy, and she's going to be sharing with us the nuts and bolts, the how of branding, and showing us what branding is all about and how we can really create that rockable, bankable brand. So you can keep up with us. Yes. And so check out the links at facebook.com/Ladies Who Brand and her website, ladieswhobrand.com. And if you just get lost, just go to my site and mycontentplanner.com/Kathy Bass.